Hello everyone, I'm Nitsahone, and it is Thursday, which means it's time for a draft video. I post one on every Monday and Thursday at a minimum. This week I think I'm just going to be able to do the minimum, probably next week too, probably for the foreseeable future, especially with Dominaria Limited Review around the corner. But it should be more Masters 25 next week, I think. I think I can get them recorded while it's still on Magic Online, because it'll go off of Magic Online, I think, at the end of next week. So I think that it'll still be on Magic Online when I want to record. So that's good. So a little bit more Masters 25, which is good. I've loved this format a lot. Doesn't hurt that I've gone 6-0 in my last two drafts. Hopefully we can keep that rolling here and just get an absurd win percentage. So I'll see you guys when this draft fires. Okay, this pack isn't an especially strong one. Flash is cool and you can do some fun things with it, but you really have to end up with the right other cards for it to work. You know, it basically lets you cast a creature at instant speed by discarding a card. You can look at it that way because it costs 2, but it makes the creature you flash into play cost 2 less, which isn't bad, but you know, it's not incredible either, though. It asks a little bit of setup from you. This pack in general is quite weak, though. I mean, there's some cool build-arounds like Zada and Pyrehound and Squadron Hawk, but there's no removal, really. Heavy Arbalest is a combo piece. Ambassador Oak's like a solid creature. I'm kind of leaning towards Zada. I think she has the highest ceiling. I could also think about Sift, though. I do love blue in this format. But in the interest of doing something different, maybe we'll try to do not blue, because I've done a lot of blue. And Zada is strong if you can set her up right. I like Rancor a lot. The red cards in here aren't great, so I think we probably do take Rancor. There's not removal or anything. I do like the Abomination, but I think I like Rancor a little more. Yeah. Just an aura that endlessly comes back and pumps your creatures, and you know is great. Makes any creature into a threat, really, in most cases. Thanks to +2/+0 and trample. It's a nice combination. So with Zada, what we want to do ideally is go wide with tokens and cast combat tricks. It's basically the plan. Echoing Truth is like the biggest combo with the tokens, because you can make them so huge. So haven't seen any removal though, and in this format, I think if you want to be successful, you sometimes have to move into whatever color is giving you removal. So we haven't seen any yet, so maybe we'll see some at some point. Diabolic Edict is removal, but it's not strong removal by any stretch. Baloth Null's great. No token making. There is a Cultivate, which I also like. Cultivate can help you set up splashes, and Baloth Null is just a really strong value creature. I like Ruthless Ripper okay too. You know, Enoch Survivalist, Ambassador Oak, Cultivate. These are all playable mono green cards along with Broodhatch and Nantuko, but the ceiling on Baloth Null is so high that I'm thinking about taking it instead. None of these are great green cards. They're all just, you know, solid-ish. You know, they're all cards I'd play, and I have played in this format, but Baloth Null is very strong, and I think I take him because his ceiling is so much higher. Another Rancor. Also, 2 Hordling Outbursts, and a Treasure Keeper. So Eidolon's not great in Limited. You know, people aren't playing as many cheap spells, and you and your opponent are playing like the same amount of cheap spells, and if you're not like a really dedicated aggro deck, it's probably not going to work out for you. So anyway, the decision we have to make here is whether we want to start taking token makers or take another Rancor, which also works really well. I kind of think we want to take the token makers. The fact that there's 2 of them here is a good sign. And the tricks are easier to get because not everybody wants the tricks. So I think we take the Outburst here. Yeah, so here's an Echoing Courage. We could just jump on that now. This pack, again, doesn't have anything really strong in it for us. Timberpack Wolf's not bad, but Echoing Courage combos with Zada and Hordling Outburst really well, and it combos with Hordling Outburst alone pretty well. So I think we take it here. I don't know if I would normally do this. I am sort of forcing this deck to some extent because I've drafted so many decks in this, a lot of decks in this format. I've never really gotten to draft the Zada combo. I've done basically all the other combos, at least at common and uncommon. Trumpet Blast might be something we want, but I bet it'll wheel. Echoing Courage might wheel too, but I think we take it. And okay. So Elvish Aberration's nice. So is Woolly Loxodon, Enoch Survivalist, and Skirt Commando. These are all perfectly playable cards. Black does not look very open, so we may not be able to splash our null. I prefer Forest Cycling or the bigger creature is the question. Or in the one that I can also play earlier. They both have early game value, and then late game are big monsters. I think I like the Loxodon a little more. Ooh, okay. All right. Okay. So this can make insect tokens. That's something to keep an eye on too for the Zada deck. So Broodhatch Nantukos, Hordling Outbursts, and Combat Tricks is what we want. Okay, here's a Giant Growth. Let's go crazy. Okay, here's an Uncaged Fury. There's also an Ember Weaver, which might be the safer pick, and it might be what I take anyway. I feel like we're going to pick up enough tricks when we want them that we should take like the good creatures when we can. And Ember Weaver is definitely that, especially in a red-green deck. So, I mean, yeah, Uncaged Fury's sweet, but, you know, so, I mean, Ember Weaver is a great creature. So, and we don't want these cards that are only good if we have Zada in play. We don't want too many of those. We want a few. So yeah, Broodhatch Nantukos, Hordling Outburst, Combat Tricks. These are the things we're looking for. We'll take a Humble Defector. It may not make the cut, but it is perfectly fine. It's going to be better for us than Mog Flunkies, I think. So you're probably going over here. I mean, that is the risk you run. I mean, I know in this case it didn't work out, but there are plenty of times when you do take a risk on a really high ceiling card like that, and then you get to play it, and it's a really key part of your deck. Okay, these are all good cards. This guy helps you go wide, but not as well as Broodhatch Nantuko. But I think in a vacuum, it is just a better card. Should I let that convince me here? Yeah, I think it is. I mean, because Broodhatch Nantuko sometimes just sort of gets wrecked because your opponent, you know, they can deal with it relatively easily and only let you get like 1 or 2 tokens, which isn't bad, but the Oak is just bigger. So I think we take Nettle Sentinel over the Eidolon. And Stampede Driver and Uncaged Fury are both potentially good in our deck, but Stampede Driver is good even when we don't have Zada. So I think we take the Driver. We take a Plummet for our sideboard. All right, so again, we need removal still. That's one thing we don't have at all. We may just be a deck. So here's a Swords to Plowshares, but we're sort of getting there enough on the Zada deck that I don't think I want to just abandon it for the Swords. Maybe I should. I mean, there's something to be said for doing that. But this looks like fun. So, and, you know, in the early going, I drafted a lot of decks that looked like fun that didn't do super well. And then, you know, once I stopped trying to force combos and stuff, I started doing better. But, you know, the Zada deck looks so sweet that, I mean, I think I probably take Broodhatch Nantuko here over the Swords. I mean, yeah, finding a way to splash the Swords would be great. And I think it's probably the, like, mature pick, let's say, but this is like the sweet pick, so we'll take it. Niv Mizzet, or Niv Mizzet. So this pack's not very good for us. Yeah. So Soulbright Flamekin or Thresher Lizard or Dreadmaw, they all sort of don't appeal to me. This giving creatures trample could be relevant alongside a Zada boost, I guess. And it is a 2-drop, so sure, what the hell. What's going on? It's not good. This only searches for green creatures. Otherwise, maybe I'd think about it as a way to search up our Zada. So, is our deck going to be aggressive enough for Mog Flunkies? It's kind of looking like it might be. Could cast Act of Treason on your own creatures to give them all haste. It's kind of a underpowered thing to do with Zada. I think we take the Flunkies over the Lizard. Our deck is going to have a lot of creatures in it. I think it's looking fine in our deck. So another Flunkies, another Stampede Driver, another Nettle Sentinel. You know, red, it doesn't really, I'm surprised at the lack of combat tricks and additional like Hordling Outbursts that we're seeing, but I think I'd rather have another Stampede Driver. Well, maybe we just take... I think we should just take Skirk Commando, actually. He's pretty good. So another Echoing Courage, but there's also an Arbor Elf, an Anok Survivalist, and another Woolly Loxodon. Fierce Empath is also worth looking at. It can only get one creature in our deck right now, though, if I'm not mistaken. Echoing Courage is probably like the synergy pick here. And Skeletonize is removal we can play if we're really desperate. I just hope we don't have to play it. But Arbor Elf can get us to Zada more quickly, and I think that's probably worth it. I think we'll see more combat tricks. Maybe not as good as Echoing Courage, but I think we take the Elf there. Okay, we take another one of these that helps us go wide. Tree of Redemption and Anok Survivalist are both playable, but we'll take the Oak here. Okay, well, now we take an Uncaged Fury, I think. So I know we'll get tricks. Another Ambassador Oak? Yeah, I think so. I mean, the wider we can go, the better Zada gets. Hordling Outburst is certainly better, but we didn't have that choice. Take a Balduvian Horde. I don't think we actually want it, though. So in an ideal world, we're probably not playing some of these. We do have one Nettle Sentinel and a lot of green cards, but that's still not really enough. I think we take Thresher Lizard. It does make Elf tokens that I guess are a copy of this. So that matters for Echoing Courage. And it does help us go wide. Did I just convince myself to take Presence of Gond over Thresher Lizard? I think maybe I did. Let's do it. Thresher Lizard's not like exciting or anything. So in terms of tricks, what do we have? We have Giant Growth, Echoing Courage, and Uncaged Fury so far. Hordling Outburst is like the dream. This is the closest thing we have to removal at this point, which is not great. But in an ideal world, we're probably not playing either of these. Another Presence of Gond and another Thresher Lizard. This time I guess I'll take the Lizard. Another Balduvian Horde. So yeah, we've got ways of going wide, but not as wide as like Hordling Outburst lets us go. This can sometimes make you go even wider, it's worth noting. So ideally I'm not going to be playing that, and I don't know if I'm going to play this for sure. Those are just sort of the weaker cards in our deck. We may not play... Oh, I'm pretty happy to get a late Anok Survivalist, though. Face down Morphs, I think, count as creatures with the same name. Maybe I'm wrong, though. Haven't dealt with that interaction ever. Yeah, nobody wants Triskaidekaphobia. They put the wrong tree in here. I swear they think they put the tree in that is a combo with Triskaidekaphobia, and they didn't for some reason. So, another Baloth Null. Pack's not that good for us. We could take Cultivate, which can help us splash. Theoretically, our Baloth Null. I'm not sure we're a deck that's interested in doing that, but that's not a bad late game plan. Like, if all of our silly combo things fail, playing Baloth Null and getting back a couple of our best creatures isn't a bad like plan B. And our other options here are Nettle Sentinel and Soulblight Flamekin. So I think we do take Cultivate, and I think that makes it so we can play Baloth Null as our plan B, like I said. Got to see some more Hordling Outbursts, right? Yeah, I mean, it definitely, even though they don't go wide, it definitely doesn't hurt to have all these 1-drops to play with our Zada. Okay, so here we have another Arbor Elf. We also have Woolly Loxodon and Elvish Aberration, and those are all pretty good choices. Which is the better choice? Arbor Elf is pretty great. I mean, just casting all this stuff on turn 2, and this on turn 3 is good. I think we take it. And again, like I said, just having an early drop combos with Zada, because it means when she comes down, you have a board with creatures. So what we kind of lack are 2 drops, but another Ember Weaver. I think that's probably what we take over another Survivalist, or trying to also splash Pernicious Deed. Pernicious Deed isn't great when you're making a lot of creature tokens, but I do like Ember Weaver a lot. Still no removal really in our deck. In other drafts, I probably would have like jumped on taking that Swords and then tried to splash it, but maybe we take Mog Flunkies here. Elvish Aberration. Retraction Helix is actually a combo with Zada. I think I'd rather have the Flunkies. Let's be as aggressive as we can early. The only thing we have going on in our deck that isn't especially aggressive is Cultivate plus Baloth Null. We could take Sting, but I mean, he's not bad. He also goes wide. So maybe we want him. He's also not a bad plan B. I mean, our other options here are Dreadmaw, which I don't think is as good as Sting. Yet another Nettle Sentinel, Plummet or Thresher. I think I'd take Sting. Okay, Mishra's Factory isn't bad. It is another creature that can get pumped that happens to be a land. And our mana's looking pretty good, although we may have to cut the splash if we want to play Mishra's Factory. Timberpack Wolf is a fine 2-drop, but we only have 1 of them if we take it. Having a land that's also a creature is some nice upside alongside Zada, that's for sure. I'm going to regret this if I end up, like, there's more Timberpack Wolves lying around, but we'll take the Factory here. Okay, removal. It doesn't actually work with Zada because it chooses more than 1 target, but we do need a little bit of removal. Another Ember Weaver or another Mog Flunkies. I do love Ember Weaver. I mean, it's going to be a 3/3 with first strike a decent chunk of the time, although we don't actually have a ton of red cards, to be fair. So maybe we want a 3rd Mog Flunkies. Is that crazy? Seems a little crazy, but let's do it. Nettle Sentinel here. Yeah, we didn't pick up any tricks late here, which is really surprising. There weren't that many in these packs, is kind of what I feel like. Take Elvish Aberration here. Another Survivalist. This one's probably going in our sideboard, though. We picked up plenty of tricks, but we didn't really get to the like ideal Zada deck where we have like 5 Hordling Outbursts, 2 Zadas, and you know, like 4 combat tricks. We do have 3 combat tricks, 2 Zadas, and you know, other ways of going wide and making creatures. You know, our deck's basically just an aggro deck that has a bunch of combat tricks in it. And to that end, it may be wise to just sort of cut the top curve here, including Cultivate. Maybe play the Aberration because it has some early game use. Retraction Helix. That is fun with Zada, but we'll take Ancient Stirrings, I guess. Because I don't think we're going to splash. We do have a lot of green cards, so Nettle Sentinel is going to be pretty good. And we have plenty of 1-drops to team up with our Mog Flunkies. And having multiple copies of the same creatures has a little bit of extra upside thanks to Echoing Courage anyway. And we do have several creatures we have multiple copies of. What can we get out of our sideboard? Balduvian Horde. Yeah. I think this looks like fun. We're as close. You know, we tried to get there as hard as we could. We could have picked up a few more tricks, but, you know, we ended up with some strong ones between Giant Growth, Echoing Courage, and Uncaged Fury. I'm pretty satisfied with those. So we do need to cut. We can probably get away with 16 lands in this deck. So we're not really desperate for another source of green either. So I think maybe I get rid of him. Then what do we get rid of? Could cut a Mog Flunkies. Three might be a little too much. Could cut, maybe we cut Enoch Survivalist. I think we do. Having those in our, I mean, they're fine to play main board, but they're definitely better out of your sideboard. And yeah, that gives us, I think that gives us a reasonable 16 land deck with, thanks to 2 Arbor Elves, I think is in pretty good shape. Got ways to make tokens between our 3 Ambassador Oaks, Hordling Outbursts, and Broodhatch Nantuko. And we just have a ton of creatures and an aggressive curve. So Stampede Driver sort of operates the same way Zada does, although not quite as explosively. The two of them together is beautiful, though, because trample. But, yeah. And can we get away with 16 lands if one of them produces colorless mana? We might have to actually, if we want to run the factory, we probably have to run 17 lands, because, like, the double red on Hordling Outburst is certainly a consideration. I guess it's the only place we have double red. But the split's going to be pretty extreme. And I don't know if we want it to be that extreme. Like 8-7 as opposed to like 9-7. I guess that's not a huge difference. Let's just do it. Our mana might suck, but I don't think we want to quite go. I mean, we do have way more green cards, but there's not really double green on any of them, including Woolly Loxodon, because we'll play it face down 99% of the time. So I think going 8-7 is better. All right, this looks like it should be fun. I'll see you guys in the first match. All right, going into our first match. Let's see what kind of Zada shenanigans we can get up to, if any. No Zada, but I think this is still a pretty good hand. We have the turn 1 Arbor Elf, which is always nice. You know, we do have Hordling Outburst, which we only have 1 of. So, and then it's a nice card. Hey, we have a Mishra's Factory too. I guess you're gonna punch us in the face with that one. Probably just play Mog Flunkies on turn 2. I don't know though. I don't know. We'll see. They're just gonna get in there with that factory. No, they're just gonna play Cutthroat. Do I just kill that Cutthroat and that way I can avoid any sort of headache related to shenanigans with the Cutthroat, like Phyrexian Ghoul and crap? Because I can do that. I can also just play Mog Flunkies and Stampede Driver. I can also offer a trade and then maybe use Giant Growth. There's a lot of choices here. I mean, Zulaport Cutthroat can be a problem if left completely unchecked, but I feel like I'll have a way to kill it later, and it's not really a huge threat yet. So I think maybe I play the Mog Flunkies and then Stampede Driver as well. Obviously, the Mog Flunkies fight really well. Would be nice to have more epic confrontations for that reason, but this is the only one we have. Yeah, we'll play Stampede Driver too. Play Hordling Outburst next turn, potentially. Going wide with playing Stampede Driver is not bad. Okay. All right. Do we use Epic Confrontation on a Dauntless Cathar? That's the question. It's a good one. I don't know that we do. I'm not super concerned about it. I think I'm going to use it to kill the Cutthroat now. Yeah, and we'll do it with the Stampede Driver, I think. I could do it with the Flunkies, I guess, and then my Flunkies can survive, but something else has to attack with my Flunkies anyway, if I want to attack with it. Alternatively, I could just attack and leave up mana for Stampede Driver shenanigans and combat tricks. So I could attack with these two, is what I'm saying. Man, too many choices. Maybe I should just try to go wide with Hordling Outbursts and in my turn there. That might just be the best thing. Let's do that. Draw that thinking. Wish I had Zada. That would make me even happier, but yeah, I think we'll just end our turn. And then next turn, we sort of have a nice setup for doing a bunch of damage. We can kill something and have a combat trick available. Yeah, well, that's annoying. Ooh, they're going to kill the driver, which makes sense. I mean, I was about to go kind of crazy there, at least potentially. So, in a white deck, there's a decent chance they have ways of blinking Ravenous Chupacabra, which is a nightmare. I have to say. So, I think I attack with the Flunkies and the 3 Goblins here, and we see what happens. Yeah, let's do it. And we can play Giant Growth if we need to. I don't hate the idea of playing Giant Growth. So the question is, where do I play it? I think I'd rather play it on my big guy here. Yeah. So we do lose a health, they gain a life, we hit them for a little bit. And then we can play a face down Skirt Commando, which is actually pretty good right now. Let's do this. Feels weird playing an aggressive deck in this format. I've gotten so used to not doing it, but that is what we are. And I wish they hadn't killed our Stampede Driver. That could have made that combat really painful for our opponent. Yep, you can have your flyer. I'm not overly concerned about that. So these are tokens that have the same name, so that's worth keeping in mind with our Echoing Courage. I think we attack with these 4 things and see what happens. We could Epic Confrontation first, but I don't think we need to. How much do you cost on Morph? 3. So this can turn into a creature, but I'm not super concerned about that. I am concerned that they might have removal in response to Echoing Courage, which would be a real pain. If they don't block this, we're going to be pretty happy because we can turn it, we can morph it and kill something. But if they decide to block these, it's pretty hard not to want to cast Echoing Courage right here. Yeah, I think we cast Echoing Courage. Yeah, so Echoing Courage. See what happens. It happens. Okay. We're kind of running out of things for Zada to do when she comes along, but that's okay. We've got a nice board brewing here. So I think we're going to untap this Forest and also play this Nettle Sentinel. So what we don't want them to have is like Living Death. That would be bad. Obviously enough. Okay. That actually makes us pretty happy because they don't have the mana right now to regenerate it. So, question is, what do I want to just give up? I think giving up Nettle Sentinel is probably better than giving up the Flunkies. So, yeah, so we will go. See you later, Nettle Sentinel. Fight Twisted Abomination. All right, so we had to 2-for-1 ourselves, but it's certainly worth it there. And then I think we just attack with everything. Well, maybe not our Arbor Elf. We would kind of like to hold on to that mana. So we'll just attack with these. And they'll just take it. Oh, I could have played my other Mog Flunkies. Yeah, definitely should have. What else do they have? Oh, don't play something else scary. Oh, not too worried about Decree of Justice. They can make 4 soldiers, sure. Would be a lot happier, or less concerned about it anyway, if I'd played my Mog Flunkies correctly. But okay, so I think we just attack with everything again, except the Arbor Elf. This Zulaport Cutthroat is definitely keeping the game from completely getting out of hand for our opponent. Okay, that's fine if they want to double block that. They're hoping to make it so my Mog Flunkies won't be able to attack effectively. But he will be. I have to decide whether to play Ambassador, Oak, or Mog Flunkies. I think I play the Oak. Yeah, they go to 7, but then they go up to 11, and we go down a ways. That Cutthroat is keeping our opponent in the game. And what would otherwise they would be just completely run over. Oh, whoops. So that's not great for us that they're gaining all that life, obviously. So we'll play Ambassador Oak. Ooh, yeah, that's good for them. Maybe we should have killed that Cutthroat early, huh? No, I mean, being able to kill that Twisted Abomination when we did is pretty important. Yeah, that's kind of a problem. He's just too big for us, at this point anyway. Alright, well, we're going to play another Mog Flunkies. Just in the turn. Our opponent has stabilized, which is not good news for us. Yeah, I can't block that either. Also not good news for us. Well, that's interesting for us. I think we played as a morph. And yeah, we'll go ahead and empty our hand, sure. At least that way we can flip this. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is part of the reason I don't love aggro decks in this format. I mean, if we'd gotten Zada things going, we would have done a ton of damage, but we didn't get her, so we couldn't. And they killed our Stampede Driver, who would have... Because people stabilize in this format, and you just run out of ways to kill them. That's not bad, though. Can block the Griffin Protector, at least if my opponent doesn't play something, so we can continue to try to find something. There's not much for us to find, though. Oh, they top deck Murder, of course. We don't have any more removal in our deck, so... And yeah, we're pretty much dead. We'll go ahead and scoop. There's not much we can do. That Arbor Elf wasn't going to help. Okay. These 2 Ember Weavers should be nice. We didn't see any reason to bring in Survivalists, did we? No. Yeah. Yeah, we really got to count on like Nettle Sentinel. I mean, Stampede Driver staying alive or getting Zada, I feel like, in most situations. Because we just run out of gas. Got to kill them fast. And yeah, if it weren't for that Cutthroat, they would have been dead, but they had it. And we didn't kill it. But if we couldn't have killed that Abomination, that would have been a huge problem too. And that's kind of part of the problem with... There's just so many creatures that come down late that just brick wall an aggro deck. So, you know, unless you get Zada in play and have one of your combat tricks, and then you can do some pretty gross stuff. Could bring in Plummet, I guess, but we saw one flyer. It's not enough for me. We would like to play first. Ugh. I don't think we can keep this. It's far too slow. Wow. Well, don't keep that one either. This one's okay. Thank God for morphs. But yeah, it's not great. It's not. We're not off to a good start here. Okay, well, we're going to play our Mog Flunkies, even though he won't be able to do anything for a little bit. Not until the morphed Broodhatch Nentuko joins the party. God, that's annoying. Perilous Merge just like laughs at Mog Flunkies. But yeah, we'll play our Morph face down. We'll end our turn. Yeah, they're in defensive mode, that's for sure. I think we just end our turn too. Unfortunately. Can't unmorph this at some point, it may matter. Why did I bring in Plummet? Okay, we will play this Nettle Sentinel and end our turn. Yeah, I mean, and having a deck that doesn't have much removal, that certainly isn't helping our cause either. Double Griffin Protector. Okay. Alright, do we want to try to go a little wider here? That doesn't seem like a bad plan. Yeah, let's do it. And we'll end our turn. So, you know, if we get Zada or something coupled with Echoing Courage, then we can go nuts. But we have to get her, you know. And she has to stay alive against the deck packing murder. So, you know, it's not great. It's not great news. Okay, so we take 4. And they end their turn. That Ember Weaver will be nice, theoretically. Alright, so I think I just attack with everything here. And we see what happens. I'm sure the Myrrh is going to block one of these. Probably the Warrior, and then do 2 to the Nettle Sentinel. That's probably what makes the most sense. No point in unmorphing this because damage is never going to be dealt. So we just let that happen. Let's see if they're gonna blink something to their hand. Oh, they're Supernatural Stamina-ing. Yeah, that's annoying. Okay. Interesting they didn't do that. I don't know which is better to do that with. It's good with both of those creatures. Right, so the Myrrh is gonna do 2 to Nettle Sentinel, I would imagine. Comes back, but luckily the size increase doesn't matter right this second. Yeah, kills the Nettle Sentinel. And then we play Ember Weaver. Hopefully we can get things rolling a little better with Zada in other matches if we don't get to in this one. Because that's the dream. We have 3/3/3s, which is nice against Perilous Mer. It can only kill one thing instead of multiple. Decree of Justice again. Yeah, this time it's a lot scarier because Griffin Protector. I think we're dead now. I think we are dead because they get... Yeah, we're dead because no matter how we block Perilous Mer, it's going to do damage to us. So, well, that first match did not go well. We'll see if we can do a little better in the next one. All right, match 2. Let's have this one go a little bit better. Well, we have Zada, and we have a 1-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop. That's pretty good. We just need to draw a combat trick, and then we can do some crazy things, of course, with our friend Zada. So I'll play our Nettle Sentinel on turn 1. So if we decide to attack with it, it won't untap on turn 2, but it'll untap on turn 3. So... Oh, now we can untap it, which is nice. Okay, so we'll attack with our Nettle Sentinel. We can also play Zada next turn, which is pretty nice. Although she's basically a lightning rod for removal in the early game. Because people are just like, you know, they know what she's capable of. But I like getting to untap my Nettle Sentinel. And, you know, the elf helped us go a little wider for potential Zada shenanigans. Yeah, that works for me because... Ooh, interesting. Okay. I might now actually play another Nettle Sentinel and Ember Weaver this turn instead. So we'll attack with our Nettle Sentinel. Of course, if then I draw a combat trick, then I'm really going to regret it, but... I might just chump block here, which would be fine with me. Yeah. So they'll take it, go to 15. Play another land. We'll play our Nettle Sentinel. We're just going to try to aggro them to death. That is the plan after all. And then we're going to play Ember Weaver. We could have held off on that, but, you know, to have them untap again next turn, because right now we don't have a way to untap them next turn, but I think that's probably okay. If I just draw Giant Growth right here, I would be really happy. Phyrexian Ghoul. Now that makes my life a little more difficult. Okay. So. Yeah, there's just so many cards that stonewall your aggro deck when you don't have enough removal. I mean, this doesn't completely stonewall us. I think we probably still attack into it with our 2 Nettle Sentinels. Basically, what ends up happening is they'll block with Dusk Legion Zealot on 1, and then the Phyrexian Ghoul block the other, and then sacrifice this to Phyrexian Ghoul. So we end up trading 1 for 1, sort of. But keep making sure there's not fuel out here is good for us in the future. So, yeah, I think we bring the attack with both Nettle Sentinels and just have to be fine about if we lose one of them, which you'd think we would. If we had a combat trick, we could really punish Phyrexian Ghoul, like, you know, sacrificing and get a nice 2 for 1, but we don't have that going on. So we'll attack with both Nettle Sentinels. And they're going to do exactly what we expected them to. Like I said, I wish we had a way to punish them, but we don't. So Phyrexian Ghoul gets bigger, eats our Nettle Sentinel. And then, what do? We play Zada and just hope we draw a combat trick? Maybe that is what we do. Let's do it. Also makes my Ember Weaver more imposing. What we really want is for them to not have any more creatures so we can really just start getting in there. he may just get murdered. There's a real possibility. Well, the chances of them playing another creature aren't super high right now. Oh, now they're okay. Nope. That's good news for us. If we can draw something green, we can even attack with this, but we did not draw something green. So I think we attack with Ember Weaver and Zada. It's too bad we didn't draw something green to hit them for 8, so we're just going to hit them for 6. And then we'll play Mog Flunkies, and we'll hold on to this land to bluff, and we'll end our turn. Come on. Combat tricks. Oh, they're just going to scoop. That works for me. I guess they just couldn't do anything, which this is probably a good matchup for us. If we can just aggro, just play a bunch of stuff really quickly. We probably want to bring in a survivalist. It might be better than Skirk Commando here because we saw 2 artifacts there. So I think that's probably good. But yeah, if we can just curve out and do what we did that game, we might be in good shape against a Dirtily deck in this format. I mean, these flunkies hit hard, man. If you can play a 1-drop and then flunkies, you can do a bunch of damage fast against a deck that's just sort of messing around. Rancor would be nice. Hey, there's Rancor. This looks like a pretty good hand. We need to hope we draw a land or 2, but I think we can do that. Okay, so I think I lead with Nettle Sentinel. That way next turn I can attack with it and play Stampede Driver. Yeah. Ooh. That's not cool. Okay. We could put Rancor on our Nettle Sentinel, but then I wouldn't be able to play Arbor Elf, which I think is something we really want to do. So I think we just play our Arbor Elf and end our turn. Maybe next turn we put Rancor on our Nettle Sentinel when we have more mana available. Yeah, maybe we bring in another Enoch, whatever, Survivalist, is that it? So I think I'm going to put Rancor here. And I am going to attack. I'll take 4. And then we're going to untap this forest. I think we play a face-up Broodhatch Nantuko, since it obviously causes all kinds of problems. But they are ramping a lot more quickly this time around, so that's not good news for us. They'll be up to 6 mana potentially this turn, and we're stuck on 3-ish. Yeah, they're definitely like a silly, nonsense, dirtily deck with a bunch of fixing, which is usually where I like to be. So, and Return Phalanx is great there. Okay, they are dirtling more than I expected, which means we can probably get in for some more damage. Could use some more mana. We can just attack with this Nantuko, and like if they want to block it and give us 3 insect tokens, we're perfectly okay with that. Those boots are back. That works for me. We did draw another land. Look at that. So yeah, we'll attack with Nettle Sentinel and then Nantuko. And whether or not they block the Nantuko will help us determine what we want to do, because we may want to play Stampede Driver if they give us a bunch of insect tokens here. If they block Nettle Sentinel, then our plan is different. If they give us 3 insects, yeah, I think playing Stampede Driver might be our best move. They're just going to take it. And if they do that, I think our best move is probably just playing Ambassador Oak. All right. Wow. Did they intentionally just pass the turn back to us? I kind of doubt it. All right, so yeah, they accidentally passed us the turn. Unless they didn't, and they have something planned here, which is entirely possible. But yeah, we'll attack with Nantuko, Oak, and Nettle Sentinel and see what happens. Because that is lethal. I gotta do something. Okay, so they take 5. You go to 3. So, okay, they scoop. All right, well, we didn't get to do any Zada things, but we really punished one of those dirtily decks, which is what these aggressive decks can do when things work out, and things worked out pretty well for us. So hopefully in our last match we can do some nifty stuff with Zada, because we're 0 for 2 on doing nifty stuff. But we are 1 for 1 in actually winning. So I'll see you guys in the next match. All right, going into the final match, hoping to do what we set out to do here, which is silly things with Zada. I think this hand's probably a keep. We, of course, need red mana. We need a 3rd land, you know, but we're going to play a turn 1 Mishra's Factory, and we can probably attack with it next turn. So, yeah. We could also just play Brood Hatch and Nantuko face up next turn, but I think it's probably better to just attack with our factory. Give us a land. Arbor Elf would be okay too. They did. They gave us a land. I'm happy about that. The question is whether we should play Mog Flunkies now instead of attacking with our factory. I think maybe we should. It's not like it's going to be able to attack next turn, but it sets up future turns. You know, it gives us a huge guy on the table too. And then we can play one of our morphs next turn, and you know, we could also use Mishra's Factory to attack with Mog Flunkies too. It's worth noting. So, yeah. If they don't have a 2-drop, I kind of think maybe going for the... You can hit them for 5 here. Man, that's tempting. Is that what I'm supposed to do here? And then, like, play Stampede Driver? That doesn't seem bad. There's also a decent chance to have Disfigure, though. So maybe it's better to just play... I think it probably is better to just play Morph in this scenario. We'll play her in Nantuko. I mean, maybe getting in for 5 was the right thing to do, but with this figure at common, that going badly would be really bad. Not just a little bad, but really bad. Murder. Okay. I see what you did there. You killed my Nantuko. Okay. Well, another morph. Sure. I think we play this one face down next. Could get in for 5 there again. Maybe I should have there, since we know they're tapped out. Probably should have. Probably should have. But if they're so worried about murdering my Mog Flunky's friends, we might be in okay shape. Okay. All right, so I think so I can morph you if they decide to take you. I think we attack for 5, and our ideal scenario really is if our opponent decides to just take this, and we can unmorph it and kill the Bloodhunter Bat. Chances are he trades for the morph, but if he doesn't, we're going to be pretty happy. Yeah, trades for the morph. Deal. So now I think we play Ambassador Oak. The more pressure we can put on them. And by the way, this seems like another control deck that maybe it can stabilize late, but I feel like we have a real shot at killing them quickly. Although maybe getting in for 5 earlier would have been. But see, them playing that, you know, we're really not concerned about it. It is not a problem. That's more of a problem. But we do have Echoing Courage to get a bit of a blowout. Okay, so I think this time I actually am going to animate my land. Because if I cast Echoing Courage, I won't be able to do anything else anyway, except maybe play Arbor Elf. So we'll make Mishra's Factory a creature. And I think we attack with all 3 of our non-Elf Warrior people. Actually, I guess Echoing Courage won't get much of a blowout, but that's okay. I was thinking this was going to be... Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, good. If they're blocking like that, then we're really in good shape. It doesn't really matter when I cast Echoing Courage, because both creatures die anyway, so I'm just going to do it now. Oh, wait a second. There's actually no reason for me to do it now, because right now both creatures die anyway. So let's let them sacrifice. Yeah, and now's when we go Echoing Courage. Get in for 2. Maintain our board presence. They are getting a lot of mana, though, and they still have a lot of life, neither of which are good for us. Another ghoul. If the ghoul's alone, and it is, I'm not that concerned about it. Ooh. Okay. So we'll attack with Mog Flunkies and Ambassador Oak. And then I think we... play Zada. She might just get murdered, but if she doesn't... And they're just going to go to 10 here, which is great for us. Unless they're about to fire off a murder. Nope. And yeah, and then we'll play Zada. It's funny because we've drawn our Zadas and we've drawn our combat tricks, but we already fired off our Echoing Courage. So, you know, sometimes that's what you just have to do. All right, but we got there. Punishing the dirtily decks, and yet we still haven't gotten to do anything fun with Zada. Didn't see any reason for Anok Survivalist or Plummet. So I'm not going to bring either of them in. Yeah, I think this is a good hand. You know, turn 1 Nettle Sentinel will do some damage. If last game was any indication. And we can follow it up with Arbor Elves. We'll have plenty of mana. It's going to be really sad if we finish this off and don't get to Zada at all, but you know, that's okay. So yeah, we'll lead with Nettle Sentinel. I mean, playing Arbor Elf would let us play a turn 2 morph, but nah, Nettle Sentinel will do a lot more work in terms of damage. It's not like we're like a straight up ramp deck. We're not one at all, really. So see what they play here. Okay, they play a creature who can't block, which works for me. All right, well, we could hard cast our Skirk Commando if we really want to, instead of playing him face down. I guess I should say playing him face up. I don't think hard casting really makes sense there. So we'll bash in with Nettle Sentinel. So we can play Arbor Elf this turn and then the Ambassador Oak next turn. which is pretty good. And it might actually be more attractive to play the Skirk Commando, because with their unblockable, their creature who can't block being in play, it means Skirk Commando can just kill it. You know, it depends what else they put into play, but we'll see. Kind of surprised they didn't side this out against us. Because, I mean, maybe they tried to side into a more aggressive deck, but having creatures who can block effectively is a dangerous thing. Yeah, Ruthless Ripper. Okay, maybe we do bring in Anox Revivalist in the next game. Alright. So, I think we attack with our Nettle Sentinel. We're willing to make this trade. Yeah. All right, and now I think we play Skirk Commando face down. We could just play it face up and save ourselves a bunch of mana. Maybe that's worth it, given, like, our opponent has to play a creature who can actually block it anyway. Chances of that aren't ultra high at this moment. But it's probably, yeah, we'll still cast him face down. It's probably worth it. It's probably worth it. And we can still play another Arbor Elf anyway. All right. See what they got for us. Darn it. Chances are they bounce our Morph. I think that makes the most sense. Yeah, that's what they bounce. Okay. Deadly Designs doesn't worry me too much. They know this is a Skirk Commando now, so there's almost no point in playing it face down anymore. But I think what I do instead, I have 6 mana. I could play Emberweaver and Skirk Commando face up. That seems pretty good. So we'll just play him face up. And then go untap target forest. Oh, well, you have to tap a forest first. Then untap target forest. Got 1 card in their hand, so this may be, you know, keeping our foot on the gas pedal here is a really good thing to do. And, you know, not having any good way of blocking Skirk Commando is good news for us. Plus we have a 3/3 first striker. So they can put a few plot counters on this, but I'm not super concerned about that. What I don't want them to have in their hand is like a big creature who can block effectively. If that's what we saw there, it would have been really annoying. Okay, so we may be, our Emberweaver's probably about to lose first strike, but, and +1/+0, but we have good attacks here either way. And we can continue to go wide and you know, really torment our opponent here. Yeah, they trade there. They go to 15. And we can actually just empty our hand here, and I think we do. I think we say Ambassador Oak. Yeah, put your counters on there. That's cool. You can use it to kill 2 of our creatures next turn, but we're going to have so many. Oh, poop. I accidentally passed to the end of my turn. Well, fine. Now you don't get to kill my Emberweaver. I'm guessing they're killing these two. But that still leaves us with 3 damage a turn to hit them with. So that's pretty good. And we take it. If we had that Emberweaver in play, it would be even better. But so we're going to attack with all of them. And then we're going to play both the creatures in our hand this time and not screw anything up. So we'll attack for 3. And we'll play Nettle Sentinel and another Emberweaver. I wonder what's in their hand. So we have 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage coming at them next turn. Assuming they don't play something that can effectively block. Okay, Vindicate. But we're still swinging. We're going to hit them for 5. And maybe we draw a green card. Nope, they got... Nope. Okay, good. I kind of wish we still had our Emberweavers, but drawing another creature is good, even though it won't untap our Nettle Sentinel. We have another shot next turn to draw something that'll untap our Nettle Sentinel. So we get in for 5, drop them to 7. And play Mog Flunkies. We'll have plenty of friends to attack with, so that's what really matters. Murder? Yeah. Alright, they are out of cards. Hopefully they just draw lands. Well, that doesn't do them a lot of good right now. That is not a good combo with your Cutthroat, because you're going to take damage. Okay, so we can only attack for 3 here. I'm going to hold on to this card just for fun. So they still potentially have a whole other turn, even if they blink on a land, assuming I don't draw a green spell. And if they draw a creature, then there you go. Yeah, they do draw a creature. And that is a real problem. It makes it so I can really only attack with a Sentinel, and if I don't draw a way to untap it... Hello. Does that just mean we win? Their hand's empty. We play Rancor on this, for example. They can only block 1 creature. Yeah. Yeah. If I put it here, we don't necessarily win. So yeah, we'll put Rancor here. No, I'm not trying to use its ability. What are you doing? That should do it, because they can only block 1 thing. Yeah. I mean, our deck went 2-1, but it really didn't feel like it should have. We never got to do anything cool with Zada, but, you know, another 2-1 is good. That maintains my win percentage of about 65%, and I'll take it. And it means another draft paid for by the play points. So thanks for watching. I'll be back with another draft video on Monday. I might actually get in a 3rd draft video between now and Monday. That would be nice if I could. So thanks for watching.